I'm going on a date with a guy in a wheelchair, please help. I'm not op. That is you, expensive key 3719 posted on r LGBT and r ASK Gaybros. Original post January 18, 2024. I'm 20M and a couple of weeks ago I was on Grindr and I got a message from a guy. 22M. I looked at his profile and saw that he was a wheelchair user. I didn't ask him about it straight away, but we talked for most of that night about anything really. Like music, our favorite sports and things. I felt comfortable with him straight away and it was never awkward. He then mentioned he was a wheelchair user in case I didn't read his bio. He has that problem a lot. And he explained that he was in an accident when he was 16 and he struggles to walk without holding onto something, so he uses his wheelchair mostly, but he can use a walking frame too, but he struggles to use one of his hands, which makes it difficult. He said he understood if I didn't want to talk to him after, but I did. We have talked every day since and I asked him out on a date for Saturday. We're going to get lunch then just hang out for the rest of the day as neither of us have any plans. I'm really nervous and I don't want to offend, make him uncomfortable in any way. He's really good looking and seems like a nice guy. Other guys haven't given him a chance before and I want to be the one to change that. Update January 20th, 2024. Many of you were asking for an update, so here it is. Read my previous post for context. We went on the date today and it went great. I arrived first and I waited outside as we'd planned, and then not long after he arrived and he's even more handsome than the photos. I held the door open for him and told him to ask if he needs any help, but I didn't force it. We ordered food and talked about everything. It didn't feel awkward at all. He's a nice and funny guy. After we finished our food we went for a walk and he asked if I was having a good time. I said I was and he seemed so happy and told me he was too. It was his first date he'd ever been on and he told me that he was nervous in case I ghosted him. Because most guys have done that after agreeing to meet him. He asked if we could go for coffee because he didn't want the date to end yet and I agreed. He was being really cute and put his hand out so I could hold it and he told me I made him feel like a normal guy. Then after more talking we both had to leave. He asked if he could kiss me and I said sure but forgot to bend down, but he luckily found it funny. I thought he was only going to kiss me on the cheek, but it was a proper kiss on the lips. And he's an amazing kisser and he definitely made me blush, which was kind of embarrassing. I definitely want another date. Reminder: I am not the original poster. Do not comment on the original post or contact OOP. This is brigading and not only against the rules of the sub but against the rules of the site. Saw this one when it was first posted. Such a sweet story. In the comments on the update, OOP mentions another date, cinema date. That went really well. Fingers crossed they continue having a great time. Thank you, OP, for this palate cleanser. Ah, I want them to go on another date too. Red heart 2 hearts. It's refreshing as hell to occasionally catch one of these adorable ones after reading so many cheater posts. 2024 needs more romance like this. That's it. I'm too invested in this and will be sorely disappointed if there ain't another update. Own, what a nice love story. I hope this is the start of a true love story. I hope he updates again. My ex is wheelchair bound. Pro tip: if you really like him and think he'd laugh, holler out, "Hey, Hot Wheels," next time you meet. This is so sweet. I'm going to take that as my cue to leave Reddit for the day. So I go out on a high. I had to chuckle when he wrote they were going for a walk. What a sweet positive story, smiley face. close buddy of mine is a wheelchair user as well. When we go for walks we call it a stroll. I'm strutting, without the arrogance winking face. And he's rolling. Makes us smile every time. What a sweet guy. 2 things I learned from a wheelchair using friend I'd like to pass on so that other people don't make an ass of themselves like I did. 1. Use the term wheelchair user instead of wheelchair bound. Being bound implies that they are stuck in their chair instead of seeing that the chair opens up. Options for mobility. Similarly, a wheelchair may be preferable to, as in this post, a walking frame because it frees up the use of your hands. How are you going to go grab your coffee from the Starbucks counter if you're using a frame? However, some people get really fixated people getting as close to walking like a normal person as possible, which is a big faux pas. STFU about what tools grown-ass people should be using. I was shocked at how many people thought my friend should use a frame instead of a chair even though it made all aspects of her life harder because they just thought she ought to get as close to a walking posture as possible. 2. Although it seems like the only way to express it, or at least it did to me, what's wrong with you? Is an ableist frame that basically says bodies with less than a certain specific standard of functionality have something wrong with them. A standard not applied to things like poor eyesight or hand-eye coordination. Instead of just having a few limitations the same as we all do. This is a fairly subtle insight of linguistics because, as a society we tend to frame non-standard anything as having something wrong, without really meaning anything by it. But when this turn of phrase is applied to people it can be quite hurtful. Then you can extend this insight to different cultures, customs, neurodivergence and so on, and it makes you a much less judgmental seeming person overall. You saw past and saw him, not the wheelchair. Thank you. This is so cute, OMG, loudly crying. This is awesome. Even if the relationship doesn't work out, they sound like they'd be great friends too. I hope the best for them. Wholesome and lovely red heart, red heart. There is hope for humanity. Raising hands, medium light skin tone, raising hands, medium light skin tone, raising hands, medium light skin tone. Ah, this is so cute. This makes my heart happy. Please let this work out. Please, please.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.